The Principality of Guria was a historical state in Georgia, centered on modern-day Guria, a southwestern region in Georgia. It was located between the Black Sea in Lesser Caucasus, and was ruled by a succession of 22 princes of the House of Gurieli from the 1460s to 1829. The principality emerged during the process of fragmentation of a unified Kingdom of Georgia. Its boundaries fluctuated in the course of permanent conflicts with neighboring Georgian rulers and Ottoman Empire, and the principality enjoyed various degrees of autonomy until being annexed by Imperial Russia in 1829. Early history. Since the 13th century, Guria, one of the provinces of the Kingdom of Georgia, was administered by hereditary governors from the House of Gurieli, to which the Georgian crown attached the title of Gurieli c. 1362. In the 1460s, when the power of the Bagration dynasty of Georgia was on the decline, the Gurieli dynasty joined a rebellion of the great nobles of western Georgia, led by a royal kinsman, Bagrat, who refused to accept the authority of King George VIII of Georgia. In 1463, Bagrat and his allies met and defeated the king at the Battle of Chikori. As a result, George VIII lost all the western provinces, and Bagrat was crowned king of Imereti, i.e. western Georgia. However, in return for their aid, the new monarch was obliged to create a vassal principality for each of his major allies, including the Gurieli family, which became semi-independent rulers of Guria with the seat at Georgia.Its in 1491. Georgi Gurieli was recognized as a sovereign prince. For this time on, the Gurieli also invested local bishops at Shemokmedi, Dumati, and Kinotsminda, nominally under the spiritual superintendence of the Georgian Orthodox Catholicos of Abkhazia. The polities of western Georgia fought one another for supremacy, particularly the Gurieli of Guria and Dadiani of Mingrelia. They forged a temporary alliance and organized, in January 1533, an ultimately disastrous expedition against the piratical tribe of Zigi in the north of Abkhazia. This setback enabled the king of Imereti to reassert his hegemony over Guria, but for a short time. Under the Ottoman Empire, for the mid-16th century, the princes of Guria enjoyed a de facto independence from Imereti, but faced much more serious threat from its newly emerged southern neighbor, the Ottoman Empire, which imposed, in the 1540s, a naval blockade of Guria and annexed its southern provinces of Agera, northern Shaneti, and Makakali, which had earlier been acquired by Rostam Gurieli. The situation became even more precarious after the allied army of Georgian dynasty suffered a defeat at the Battle of Sokoista. Mehmed II Gurieli managed to reconquer Agera in 1609, but was eventually forced to renounce, on December 13, 1614, any claims to the region and pay annual tribute to the Sublime Porte. The incessant feudal wars in western Georgia resulted in the decline of Guria, which eventually succumbed to the vassalage of the neighboring Principality of Mingrelia. Yet, several princes of Guria, most notably Georgi III Gurieli and Mehmed III Gurieli, managed to occasionally attain to the crown of Mingrelia and even of Imereti. The princely vassals of the Gurieli included the houses of Guganava, Mashutadze, Maximinishvili, Nakashidze, Tavgeridze, Shalikashvili, Zejanidze, and Erastavishvashidze. During the early 18th century, Guria faced an increasing political and economic downfall due to the Ottoman encroachments as well as repeated occasions of civil strife. Attempts by the Gurian princes to enter into alliances with other Georgian rulers and Russia resulted in a series of Turkish punitive raids. By 1723, the Gurieli had lost Batumi and Chakvi to the Ottomans and the whole coastline of Guria had been garrisoned by the Turks. The Gurian support to the Russians during the Russo-Turkish War caused a severe reaction from the Ottoman government. Kobuleti and the surrounding area were detached from Guria and subjected to Islamization, and apostasy being the surest way to escape slavery. The rest of Christian population had to move to safer regions of Georgia. This, combined with extensive slave trade and Turkish inroads, resulted in a virtual depopulation of several areas of Guria towards the late 18th century. The population of Guria was estimated by Guldenstadt at 5,000, and by Rienegs at 6,000 families in the 1770s. Under Imperial Russia, the latter-day princes of Guria firmly chose a pro-Russian orientation. During the Russo-Turkish War, on June 19, 1810, Mehmet V. Gurieli accepted Russian suzerainty, receiving insignia of investiture from the Tsar. Guria joined the empire as an autonomous principality, retaining its self-governance and a local code. Very desirous of adopting European customs and habits, Mehmet initiated a series of reforms and modernized administration, economy, and education. He remained loyal to the Russian crown even in 1820, when his uncle, Khosrow, joined the rebellion in Imereti and Guria, which broke out spontaneously in protest to the Russian mistreatment of Georgian church and heavy taxation. When Mehmet died on October 26, 1826, his underage son, David, succeeded him on the throne under the regency of Princess Georgia Sophia. Anxious to secure her autonomy from the Russian government, she sided with the Turks during the Russo-Turkish War. On September 2, 1829, the Russian authorities deposed David and forced Sophia into exile to Turkey. Guria was annexed to the Russian Empire, first under provisional governance, and then, in 1840, as the Osurjeti within the Kutaisi Governorate.